Hello, everyone. How are you? I hope you're well. Just wanted to do a little weekly check-in. I haven't done one for a couple of weeks, so I thought I would come on and say hello to you all. Thank you all for those who supported me in the sale on Juliet's Kitchen. Greatly appreciated. And I hope you all enjoy the chance to get into the products at a massively reduced price. So thank you all. You know, when we support independent businesses, it's an amazing thing because it just goes to support those people. So me and my family. So thank you. Um, it's been really busy with events, and the summer is looking great with events lined up. For me, it's been quite a juggling time. I've just finished the Sacred Sexuality 4-week online course, and that was amazing. Really beautiful, beautiful experience sharing that with people. Absolutely loved it. And it's great watching the garden come to life. It's just such a buzz. You know, courgettes are growing massively. We've had 2 cucumbers already. Yay! My stevia is doing really well. It's all, amazing. And what's been so incredible is that some of the things we've planted, for 3 months we've been getting fresh greens from the garden, not from a large space either. We've got these, well, we had just one bed for a while that's been giving us everything, like a small raised bed that Giles made, and we've planted stuff that comes back. So I haven't had to replant, which I think is a really good thing. So Ditanda, mugwort, mallow, sorrel. What else have we got in there? I'm just looking out the window to try and see what's in there. Chives, we've got in there thyme, oregano, um, fennel. And we've just been using that literally every day, just going out and getting loads of that. Oh, and fat hen as well. That's just come out more recently, and tree spinach. So literally every day, just picking a massive handful of greens to put into a curry or a salad or a stew or a soup or whatever it is. But it's like high nutrition and freshly picked. And this is something that's really easy and accessible. Even if you've just got a few small pots, you can get this stuff going, and it will just keep coming back, which is what is so exciting about it. You don't have to do the seeds, you don't have to do all of that. It just grows. So I think the more we can get into that, the more we can look at what can I grow that is going to be really accessible for everyone, that's going to give me food for a large amount of time, not this small window. You know, courgettes are amazing, but you've got a small window and they take up a lot of space. Cucumbers, same thing. You've got a small window of time that you're going to get this crop. Yes, it's going to give you a lot of food, but you're going to have to preserve it. Whereas the stuff that you can get from like March on, February, March, you know, all these greens when not much else is coming up, this is what we really need to start thinking about. And then if you've got more space to grow the other stuff, amazing. But where can we get this kind of packed nutrients in that we can start really surviving on if needs be? But not just if needs be, it's like we've been loving it because it's such great nutrition. So these are things to think about. I feel this is really important. Giles has been doing some amazing work for people. His new business called Gardens of Paradise, and he's been converting people's spaces, building them like medicinal gardens with my input on what plants to plant, you know, creating these incredible raised beds, you know, transforming areas as well into like, it's like spiritual gardening in a way, which has been, you know, profound for the people he's been doing it on. So if you're interested in some Gardens of Paradise coming your way, then just message me and I can pass your details on to Giles for that work that he's doing. One of the things that I am going through at the moment, which, you know, what I've always tried to do with you guys, with life, is to share where I'm actually at, not this like false social media bubble of who, what, you know, all of that stuff that goes on, but to keep it real as to what's actually happening in life. And in some areas, life is just incredible. You know, the garden, there's so much blossoming. There's so much growing. You know, I feel this deepening of my connection to the earth, and my work that I'm doing with people really profound. And my workspace is just so beautiful. You know, I really love the offerings that I have to give to people, and, you know, just feel like I'm growing so much all the time. And, you know, I was saying last night, it was Giles's birthday, and we were sat out in the garden by the fire after everyone left and we got the kids to bed. And I was just saying, I'm so grateful for the beautiful home we've got and the amazing garden, that we've been gifted with. And, um, I feel really honoured to be living in this space right now. It's not my forever space. We want to live more in community. I want to live by the sea. And I feel a pull towards the kind of Eastbourne area. So we're going to explore. We've got a year here until my oldest finishes his A levels, and then we'll see where the tide takes us. But a move more towards community is definitely on the cards. But at home, a lot of areas are going really well. But we have an ongoing challenge with my son, my middle son. And sometimes it takes all of my energy just to hold space for him and try and navigate his needs, because they're quite complex. It was beautiful this weekend. I took him away with my youngest to the sea, and that was so incredible. Didn't know if we were going to make it away. I didn't know how it was going to go, if I was going to be able to get him in the car. I didn't know. That's the thing with him. I don't know from moment to moment what's going to be possible and what isn't. But we went, and it was beautiful, and we had time by the sea and the seals, and so healing. Mental health issues are so complex and profound, and they have such a deep impact on families, and they're also so multidimensional. So, the standard approach attacks things from one aspect, but what I try to do is look at it from the whole. But knowing how to navigate situations is hard. And some days I just end up laying on the grass sobbing for most of the day because I haven't managed to get him where he needs to go, or get him out of his room, or he's starving himself, or whatever it is. It's quite complex. So I'm always researching, how can I help? What can I do? How can I, and trying to feel into it, as well as navigating dealing with 2 other children and business and everything else. So sometimes it's very hard to show up. Sometimes it's really hard to go to an event and speak, but I do. And what I do is I connect into that light and that deeper source that is pushing me through it all, that's guiding me. And I know on one level that this is absolutely, everything is absolutely fine, and Eliar's going to get through this, and this is his dark night of the soul. At 10, bless him. This is his time to come out and explore and understand his power, and to learn to process and stand in that. And it's like living with 2 different people sometimes. He's such a beautiful, caring, kind, amazing soul who then just gets swamped by darkness. And as a mother, you want to take it all from them. You want to take it and, make it all better. But I can't. I can't take this. I can't make it better. I can just be there as much as I can. Sorry, it's a bit emotional. And just do the best I can for everyone. But a big part of that, and this is what I'm working on, is I have to be there for myself. I have to find ways to support myself so I can be my strongest version. Part of me feels like this is about me stepping into my power. It's almost like him and I mirror each other so much sometimes. And it's also about letting go of the oh my God, I'm a failure because I haven't made it to here. I haven't got him to here. This personal responsibility I hold in myself for having to get him somewhere or do something for him. And I have to say, his school is being incredibly supportive, incredibly supportive. But the pressure I put on myself to get him in is huge. But they're really like just holding that space for us when we can get him in to get him in. And he loves it, and he's so super bright. And I know he'll get through this. It's just about finding the way through and staying sane in that process. So CBD, cacao have been really helpful. They're my godsends. I've made a beautiful essential oil blend for me to put on to help me feel calm and connected into my power and uplifted. Some days I just can't do anything. I literally just can't do anything because I'm just so exhausted with the battle and the not knowing how to tackle something. I think that's the hardest thing, isn't it? And I think that's why people want diagnoses with mental health, because it's like, how do you attack things? How do you deal with them? How do you hold it? How do you manage it? What's the best approach? There's so many different approaches we could take for everything, isn't there? And it's been brought up by a few people that he might have something called demand avoidance, which can be triggered by sensory issues or by trauma. And it just means that your nervous system's basically fried and you're in trauma response, you're in fight or flight, and you can't cope with pressure on you. So sometimes I say, we've got to do this now. And he's like, no, I can't do it because you've said it. And he's not trying to be difficult. He's not trying to be obtuse. He just can't cope. And the anxiety and the comes out and just overtakes him. Bless him, yesterday it took 3.5 hours to try and get ready to go into school to a BMX workshop, which he really wanted to go to. And in the end, he couldn't even make it because by the time he was ready, he felt it was too late to go in. And he didn't want to show up so late. So, and then I'm just like, I've just spent 3.5 hours trying to get you somewhere and now you can't even go. So, I've been working when I can get stuff into him. He's very controlling about food and liquids, so I can't always get supplements in, but when I can, getting heavy metal detox in to help him with that. It's been suggested he has something called KPU, which is basically when you've got this hypermobility in your body and you don't process, you don't detoxify properly, and you don't absorb nutrients properly. And there was a study done in Holland that showed in this one hospital that 80% of the people with schizophrenia in that hospital had this KPU, and that when treated with the correct nutritional approach to detoxify the body and remineralize the body, it went away. So this is really interesting stuff. So, I'm looking at working with that, but again, it's getting the stuff into him to support that. But it's looking at these things from this multifaceted approach as opposed to just one thing. It's how can I work on all these levels, to help support him to come through this, because this is, I think, him understanding his power. It's him awakening his gifts. But that's not easy. So that's what's been going on. So in amongst all that, it's a joy to be able to do the work I do, because I do love it, and it's when I really feel alive and connected and on point, on purpose, because my work, I really feel, is my purpose. It's my calling. And sometimes I get frustrated at the juggle of family and all that takes, and wanting to really spread my message to people and help guide people, but they're both the same thing. ultimately, so I have to let go of that on some levels. So I just wanted to share a little bit. It was going to be a short little thing, but it ended up quite long. So thank you for all of you who've listened to the end. Don't blame me if you didn't. But I hope it's helpful on some levels. You know, we're all going through struggles. We're all going through challenges. And, you know, Eliar's issues were really brought on with lockdown. That's what's triggered all of this. The insanity in the world. That's really impacted him. That fear that was put out, the mass pulling away of life as children knew it, you know, just really unnerved and threw Eliar and all his strategies. You know, it was like the rug was pulled out from so many people's lives. And in that rug being pulled out, people have to, it's a trauma. People have to find coping mechanisms. And a lot of people's coping mechanisms with trauma, with change, is control. What can a child control? Well, their food. That's one thing, and that's one of his main things. He controls what goes in, and you know, if he's not happy, he just won't eat, and he's very stubborn. So yeah, it's just, I think for everything, it's, you know, I've got this card that's sat on my desk that I got at a lovely event. It's Druid Hold Space, and it's really hitting me today, especially that's it's our role so often, isn't it, just to hold space. Anyway, lots of love to you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye.